It's about fucking time. In February 2026, Michael van Gerwen grabs the mic after a Premier League win. This is no victory roar, it's 12 months of pain breaking through. Jaw surgery left him in constant agony. His 17-year marriage collapsed. His father endured cancer and a major operation. He fell from world number 1 to 13, while his ex-wife revealed a new pregnancy just months after their split. Against all odds, he clawed back, winning titles with fire in his eyes. But on the eve of the season's biggest tournament, Van Gerwen was hit by a private life crisis so severe that his oldest friend called it a real sledgehammer. At first, he didn't want to go. 2 unconfirmed rumours swirl, each so devastating that, if true, everything before would seem trivial. What, after everything, could possibly break a man who has already lost it all? In 2016, Michael van Gerwen stood alone at the summit of darts. 25 titles, £1.5 million in prize money. He held all 7 major trophies at once. His televised average, 123.4, set a record that still hasn't been touched. For 7 years, no one could knock him from the world number 1. In June 2023, everything changed. Surgeons measured an 8mm gap in his jaw. The pain was constant, eating was a struggle, and doctors warned he might need both jaws broken in a second operation. The man who once looked untouchable now faced a battle just to get through the day. In May 2025, Michael van Gerwen's marriage ended after 17 years together and 11 years as husband and wife. The separation was public and sudden, and it left him fighting for custody of his 2 children. Just weeks later, his father Henri faced cancer surgery. Surgeons removed part of Henri's nose and lymph nodes, leaving him with a feeding tube. Van Gerwen described the impact simply. "My life has completely changed. The ground beneath him kept shifting, home, family, and the man who first taught him to throw a dart. Support systems vanished overnight. Every part of his private life was in freefall. The collapse was plain for everyone to see. By January 2026, Michael van Gerwen's name was no longer near the top of the world rankings. 7 years at number 1, gone. He sat at number 13, his lowest position since 2012. Not a single major title in 12 months. For the first time, he missed the Premier League playoffs entirely. The numbers told their own story, but the public sting dug deeper. In December, his ex-wife appeared on Dutch television to announce she was pregnant by a new partner. She said, "Of course a mistake was made on my part. Everyone knows that." Van Gerwen's response was blunt. He said, "I couldn't write this script myself." Late in 2025, Michael van Gerwen lifted the World Series Finals trophy. The win broke a drought that had lasted more than 2 years, a barren stretch with no major titles, no sign of the swagger that once defined him. The final was tense, but when the last dart landed, Van Gerwen's celebration looked almost like relief. For the first time since his world seemed to fall apart, he stood on stage as a champion again. The result didn't just end a losing streak. It restored something deeper, the sense that he could still belong at the top, that the game hadn't taken everything from him. January 2026 brought a different kind of pressure. In Bahrain, Van Gerwen found himself up against Jan van Veen, the Dutch newcomer many called the future of the sport. The final was tight, but Van Gerwen closed it out 8-6, holding his nerve in the closing legs. 7 days later, he was in Saudi Arabia, this time facing Luke Littler, a teenage sensation already making headlines. Van Gerwen reached the final again, but Littler edged him out 8-5. 2 finals in 2 weeks, 1 title, 1 runner-up. The headlines called it a comeback, but the real story was the new generation breathing down his neck. For now, Van Gerwen was still in the fight. Confidence flickered back into Michael van Gerwen's eyes. Headlines called it a revival. Pundits debated whether the old champion had finally returned. 2 finals in 7 days, 1 title and 1 narrow defeat put his name back in every prediction column. Social media buzzed with talk of a comeback, and even bookmakers nudged his odds shorter for the majors ahead. Van Gerwen's own interview sounded lighter, almost hopeful. He spoke about form, about fighting for every match, about how winning again felt like medicine. The belief wasn't just in the crowd or the press. For the first time in months, he seemed to believe it too. But the optimism felt fragile, as if everyone sensed how quickly it could unravel. January 29th, 2026. Michael van Gerwen walked out for the Windmill World Masters, a tournament he once would have expected to dominate. Instead, he left in the first round, beaten 3-1 by Damon Heta. The match statistics told the story, an average of just 88, almost unrecognizable for a player who once set the televised record at 123.4. There was no late surge, no fight back. Heta finished him off with clinical precision, and Van Gerwen's body language never changed. For the first time in years, it looked as if the game had simply passed him by. The numbers didn't just suggest defeat, they measured a kind of disappearance. Vincent van der Voort, Michael van Gerwen's closest friend in the sport, broke the silence on a Dutch podcast just days after the World Masters exit. He said he got hit by a real sledgehammer in his private life, and that made it a truly miserable week. Van der Voort did not share details, but made it clear this was no ordinary setback. At first, he did not want to go. If you see what he has been getting thrown at him, it is really not nothing. Van Gerwen later confirmed to Sportsboom that he was very close to pulling out. He said that if he was not going, people would have had questions. If he played badly, people have questions. Looking back, maybe he should not have gone. He said he hopes things get better, but that for it to get worse than it is not possible. The crisis was real, and for once, not even the board could hide it. After Michael van Gerwen's collapse at the World Masters, silence from his camp left space for speculation. 2 unconfirmed rumours surfaced in Dutch media and darts forums, both tied to events in January 2026. The first centres on the birth of Mila on January 9th. Forum users claim Mila was the name Michael and Daphne once chose for a third child they could not have. Now, with Daphne calling her new baby a miracle, the story suggests she gave that name to a child with her new partner. Mila's arrival came just 20 days before Michael's defeat, matching the period Vincent van der Voort described as a truly miserable week. No statement or record confirms this account. The second rumour points to a possible decline in Henry van Gerwen's health during the same window. Some suggest Michael's father, weakened by cancer surgery, suffered a setback that left the family shaken. Again, no confirmation exists. No updates, no family comment, no press coverage. Both stories remain unverified, products of a public searching for answers in the absence of facts. The real cause of Michael's distress remains private, shielded by those closest to him. Today, 200 days on the road and 0 mental health support remain the reality for top players. Whether darts will destroy him before he returns to the top is still wide open.